Hi, my name is Beth Jones. I am the 7th grade honors science teacher at Florence Middle School. Today we're going to be doing a lesson that involves the Course of Study Standard number 4 in our new 2015 Course of Study Standards that they new and improved. It's really long, so I'm going to have to read it. It is construct models and representations of organ systems to demonstrate how multiple interacting organs and systems work together to accomplish specific functions. So in order for us to construct these models, I'm going to bring in some AMSTI, Alabama Math Science Technology Initiative, and my students are currently studying the digestive system. So we are going to build a model of the digestive system with a plastic tube and a tennis ball. So our learning target for today is I can compare and contrast the movement of food in the digestive system to the movement of a tennis ball through a tube.
If everybody's ready to get started, we're talking about what we're going to do today. Remember, we've been studying the digestive system and the human body systems. If you remember from 2 days ago when we did our video review and our learning walks and our gallery walks, you guys told me things that you already knew about the digestive system. So I want you to be thinking about that as you're working on your bell work, okay? So if you look over here on the cabinet, it says, today our learning target is, I can compare and contrast the movement of food in the digestive system to the movement of a tennis ball through a tube. So we're going to be building a model of the digestive system today and using a tennis ball to represent the movement of food through your digestive system, okay? So the bell work question is, list one thing that you already know about the digestive system. All right, so I'll give you about 30 seconds to think. Go ahead and write it down in your notebook. All right, everybody has had time to think. So now I'm going to ask you what you wrote. All right, Hill, tell me one thing that you wrote down.
There are 13 parts to it. Is it 13 or is it 14?
13 parts of the digestive system? Well, I used to think you're getting real technical with the 13 parts, but there's only like 8 main parts. Okay? Camden, what did you write?
I wrote down food breaks down in the stomach area with acid. Like what?
Okay. Well, we haven't really talked about it that much, but you do know that there's stomach acid, so we'll talk more about that and elaborate a little bit later on.
Okay.
Okay, Zoe, what did you write?
It helps you make poop.
It helps you make poop. Yes, it does. Tyler, what did you write?
It contains stomach acids.
It contains stomach acids. Okay. Anna?
It starts in your mouth.
Starts in your mouth. We learned that from Magic School Bus. Remember when we watched the Magic School Bus? Okay, Camille?
Saliva surrounds the inside of the stomach.
Saliva surrounds the inside of the stomach. All right, so we'll talk more about these things as we study more today, okay? So in order for us to do our activity today, I need you on Canvas.
Since we are a one-to-one district, our students have Chromebooks, and we use the Chromebooks in my classroom almost every single day. We follow along on Canvas. Canvas is our learning management system, and so I have modules for every single topic that we're doing. So we have a digestive system module. And today the content page includes the introduction, a getting started activity where the students get to click on a Google form and answer the questions, and then also a reflection activity. So when we do the getting started activity, today I included, like I said, a Google form, and that's going to help the reflective learners to get a chance to just get their feet underneath them, think about what they're going to be learning about today, reflect on their own learning for just a moment before we start the class discussion.
Click on HBS Lesson 2, Moving Through the Digestive Tract. All right, give me a thumbs up when you're on that page. Okay, good. Brantley, will you read the introduction, please?
In Lesson 1, you discuss what you know about the human body system.
So if you'll scroll down to the next thing where it says Getting Started, and it says click here to answer the Getting Started questions, if everybody will click there to open up the Google form. And then if you'll quickly answer those 3 questions, first of all, type your name. And then you have 3 questions. How do you think that food moves through the digestive tract? What do you think happens to food as it moves through the digestive tract? And why does the digestive tract get narrower in some places? Up here on the board is the answers that you guys put. Okay. All right, so let's look at question number 1. How do you think food moves through the digestive tract? Let me scroll down just a minute. Down here toward the end. All right, so let's see. Acids propel the food. It gets pushed down the digestive tract. It's by liquid. All right, so I'm not going to tell you if your answers to the questions are correct yet, because we're going to work through the activity first. And as we work through the activity, then you're going to be thinking about these questions, and we'll come back and answer them at the end. Is everybody good with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you'll go back to your Canvas tab, please, and scroll down past the Getting Started, where it says Inquiry 2.1. Does everybody see that? All right, then it says follow the instructions on page 10 in your HBS booklet. So if you'll open up your HBS booklet, the one sitting on your desk, to page 10. And then it also says click here if you would like to follow along on the PowerPoint. All right, so let's talk about way back in August when we talked about the scientific method. Who remembers the first steps to the scientific method? Camden, what you got?
Make an observation.
All right, remember, make an observation.
Ask a question, form a hypothesis, make a prediction, do a test, or experimentation, analyze data, and draw conclusions.
Awesome. So we have made an observation about our digestive systems and the fact that we know we have one, right? And we want to know what happens in our digestive systems a little bit more. So if you'll go to the second slide, our question of investigation today is, how does food move through the digestive tract? Our next step is to follow the procedure. So if you will look on page 10, Mario, will you read number 1, please?
Okay.
Our materials are a tennis ball that has been soaked in corn oil, and also a plastic tube that we're going to measure. We have tape measures and then also markers to make our measurements. Okay? Walton, will you read number 2, please?
Place the plastic tubing on a flat surface. Unroll about 40 centimeters of the tube.
Okay, so when you get your tubes, you're going to unroll your tube on a flat surface, like somewhere on the floor or maybe on the back counter, and unroll about 40 centimeters. All right, number 3. Brantley, read that.
Using figure 2.2.
Data table up here on the screen. And you also have a copy of that data table on your book on the bottom of page 10. And it says that these are the approximate length of your actual organs. When we measure, like this is an example of the tube, okay? So when we measure, we're going to put our, hold somebody come up here and hold this for me. All right, turn right here so you can face down. All right, you're gonna put your measuring tape on your tube just like that. Now, like I said, this tube is going to end up longer than the room, so you're probably gonna have to measure some of it and then bunch it up when you stretch it out, okay? So boys are gonna come up here on the floor, and girls are gonna go back to the
Everybody have something to weigh.
Yeah, my foot, like a pencil.
Alright, esophagus is 25. Esophagus is 25. So measure it. So from this line, you don't have to hold
Let's put this a little bit straight. Okay, so who has the marker? All right, go down there. Anna, what's the first measurement we're supposed to make?
First measurement, 11.
11. Okay, so, all right. So remember, when you squeeze, everybody looking at me? When you squeeze, it's hand over hand. All right, hand over hand. I want to see muscle contractions. All right, everybody ready?
Oh, goodness. No, no.
All right, go. Okay, y'all are moving. Everybody stand still. Stop moving.
Is it hard? Not. See? There you go. Take that. Come on. Come on. Michael thread.
That's cheating, Mario. You're cheating.
Oh, sorry.
Hand over hand. You're still cheating.
Ow!
Because we're going
I'm going.
Sorry.
Ow!
Hold it back now.
Yeah, that's
All right, you got it?
Yep.
Okay, hold it up. Hold this one up.
So constructing the model is very good for the active learners. They're getting up, they're moving around the room, they're measuring, they're pushing the tennis ball through the tube, they're racing each other. So this is a way for them to sort of get the blood flowing and to also connect the concept with an actual real life example.
All right, so now that we've completed our activity, we're going to do our data and observations about the activity. Now is when you need your notebook again. So you can stack your textbooks in the center of your table. Get your notebook. Remember, our learning target for today was to compare and contrast the movement of food through the digestive system to the movement of a tennis ball through a tube. So normally when we do compare and contrast, anyone remember how we show compare and contrast? A Venn diagram. Good. So I'm going to give you a cup. Remember, use the large part of the cup. Draw yourself a Venn diagram in your notebook. And I'm going to draw one on the board. One side is going to be labeled movement of food, and the other side is going to be labeled movement of tennis ball. While you're drawing, I want to ask you a couple questions. These are the questions I asked you to think about while we were doing the activity. So what did the tennis ball represent? Food. And why do you think the tennis ball was soaked in oil?
So it wouldn't get stuck.
Okay, so it wouldn't get stuck, but we're trying to represent something. What were we representing?
Saliva.
Saliva, and does anybody know another word? Mucus, right. Mucus lines all of your digestive tract, all of your digestive organs, like you guys said earlier, to help protect against stomach acid. How is the movement of the tennis ball similar to the movement of food as it passes through the digestive tract? And how is it different? So on your notebook, you should have 2 circles, interlocking a Venn diagram. I want you to label this HBS, Human Body Systems, Lesson 2, Digestive Tract. And then again, one of the circles is movement of food, and then movement of tennis ball. And remember, where they interlock, that is where we put what?
How they're the same.
How they're the same. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 minutes to write down some sentences about how the movement of food is different from the movement of the tennis ball, and then how they are the same. Your 3 minutes is up. Let's talk about what you wrote down. You'll give me one thing of how they're different.
The movement of food in the actual human body is slow, and the movement of the tennis ball is fast.
Okay, so the movement of food, we talked about that earlier when we watched the Magic School Bus. They said it takes 8 to 10 hours to digest something. Sometimes it can take up to 36 hours. That's more than a day, right? So that movement of food is actually going to go through your system a lot slower than the movement of the tennis ball did out in the hallway, right?
The visual learners are getting to see the PowerPoint presentation, the Google form. They have pictures in their textbook. They have the visual of the actual digestive system model, the tennis ball and the tube. And then the verbal learners are getting all of the information from me as I'm presenting the lesson. They are also getting the verbal learning, the exchanges between their classmates as they are measuring and talking. And then they also get a time at the end to read through some information. And then again, going back to the reflective learners, whenever I ask them a question or I have them complete a reflection activity, at the end of our lesson when we're doing our data analysis, sometimes it's called reflecting on what you've done. And so that allows them to say, hey, okay, this is the activity we did today, but it really means something in science. And so they get to take a moment and think about it and, like I said earlier, connect with a real world example of what the digestive system looks like, how long it is, what it's doing in our bodies, not just thinking, oh, it's there. Then they actually know what it's doing and why it's important. So then we take this lesson and build on it for the rest of the lessons in the digestive system. We go back to this lesson several different times. So it's a frame of reference for all of my students.